As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Hi, Bullhorn Betty. Thank you for my shirt. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Kids Club.
Well, good evening, my beautiful people of YouTube. It is nice to see you this evening. It is May 1st, which is insane. I cannot believe we're almost through a half a year already of 2020. Not that I'm trying to remind anybody how much older they're getting, but that is the name of the game. Today is May 1st. We already had a show earlier today that went over a lot of information and several other stories. This one is more geared and focused around a specific topic. We're going to go back into time a little bit. We're going to be here for a little bit, and we're going to work our way up to these blobs. I just threw out some questions for the chat. Please don't forget to answer the poll question. So good evening, Lisa B. Always. Abby, it's nice to see you. The real me too. Hello, hello, hello. Our beautiful Melanie is up in the house. Tina, Jackie, it's nice to see you. Rhonda, good evening. It's nice to see you as well. I don't know why I use this little Truth in Time. It's nice to see you. Cheryl, good evening. Linda, Carla, Gypsy. We got Football Mob up in the house. Grave Crime with Grace. Raw Beanie, it's nice to see you, love. Love my fur babies. I love mine as well. Heather is up in the house. Our friend Phil from across the pond, it's nice to see you as always. Cynthia, it's nice to see you. Cindy, I guess I should say. First name. I always read the first name, not the last one. Don, it's nice to see you. Cheryl, Betty, it's nice to have you. Kathleen, Pussy Willow Pendercat, hello. MJ, it's nice to see you. Dark Princess. Hindsight 2002, which is, we're going to be giving a lot of credit to Hindsight. I went and pillared through her YouTubes and her TikToks, and now we have bada bing, bada boom. We got a show. Thank you, Hindsight. Thank you. Thank you. Blessed Thursday. God bless you. Patty, it's nice to see you. Panda, it's nice to see you as well. Donna, P-Gen, it's nice to see you. We got West Virginia Holla Girl up in the house. Deanna, it's nice to have you. Mama Bear, the Hen House. Southern Charm, hey, hey, hey. JH, it's nice to see you. Aloha as well. Mama, nice to see you. Mary, Be Betty, Betty fan. It's nice to have you up in the house. Cinda, good evening. I think we got Cheryl, Peggy. It's nice to see you. Mama Rissa, Melody. Hello, hello, my love. Mama first always. It's nice to see you. Beth, hello. Who else do we have? Terry, Fusion. It's nice to see you. Beth. Lakeith, it's nice to have you. D White, I see you. Texas Life, Julie, hello, hello. Me and you. Jacqueline, it's nice to see you. Frank and Passion Flower. Now, if I missed anybody, I do apologize. If you've never seen me before, I'm typically the lady with the crazy lady with the bullhorn in my hand, and they call me Bullhorn Betty. And we cover true crime. We've been covering the case of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, among many other cases. It's one that we decided to take a deep dive into. It's an active and ongoing investigation where a 15-year-old disappeared from his home allegedly on February 26, 2024. It's been well over a year. Nobody has seen or heard from him. We've been deep diving into this case. We've been looking and analyzing a lot of interviews related to all the parents. And there is one common theme that has been very much public, and that is the behavior of the mom and stepfather. The mom and stepfather has been side-eyed by the public for almost as long as this story has been making the headlines, and for good reason. Behavior, lack of emotion, constantly being out here, in a self-serving way, as opposed to having concern and urgency to find a missing child, their missing child, one that lived in their house, one that disappeared from their house. Law enforcement never found any scent of Sebastian leaving the house. Therefore, there's no evidence that Sebastian ever left the house. They have evidence of him going inside and no evidence of him ever leaving. However, by Nick Barris, March 14th, we realized that things weren't as they seemed. There were things going on in and around the Proudfoot home where Sebastian Rogers lived at the time he allegedly disappeared. And while many wanted to distract us and provide misinformation about what those lights really were, we had to dive in. Now, because this is true crime, not mainstream media, we have to play by different rules. We don't have access to law enforcement. They don't give us access to them, not like mainstream media. So that means we have to do the shoe leather work ourselves. Hey, Brenda Sue, SPED teacher. It's nice to see you. Is that positive time? Did I say? Positive tea time. It's nice to see you, love. Then we get into the information, and that's really where I think a lot of us get hung up on, because we do true crime all the time. It's not a part-time job, it's a full-time job, right? So we have researched many interrogations, we've watched many trials, we've consulted with investigators, retired judges, wherever we can consult, we can consult. We have people that are in a very much a professional education in a lot of the fields that we need that are right here on YouTube, such as the Deception Detective, Chris McDonough. These are just Jennifer Coffindaffer. These are just a few of the experts. We got FBI, we've got law enforcement, we got attorneys, we got state, like that Emily Baker, right? Emily D. Baker. So we have a lot of professionals, a lot of people that have education and experience in this that we can go and derive information from and get a good understanding of what the law is, what evidence is, what normal behavior should be in a situation like this. We have all of these people that we can go and speak to and talk to. And that's outside of our personal sphere of influence, right? So I think first we're going to get a little education on disinformation. It's a 14-minute video, but I'm not going to bend your ears that much with it. We are going to hear a little bit of it, and then we're going to move right on into the show, because I think it's very important that we go back and kind of put things in chronological order, but I've only picked certain pieces to put in that chronological order for the purposes of this show. And at the end, we're going to be analyzing the Blob. And I've got something I'm hoping that the mob crew can answer me on. So we'll see if the mob crew hears this, if they get a clip of this at the end, because I've got a serious question. He's kind of, in all fairness, he's very detailed oriented, and he analyzes videos, and I think he really does a great job. And while I don't agree with him 100%, I don't think any of us content creators agree with each other 100% on everything. But there's a lot that I do trust and value his opinion on. So I'm going to kind of give him a mind question, because this is something that I've heard him sit there and say over and over again about this lights video. So we'll kind of dovetail into that closer to the end of the show. But for the time being, we're going to learn a little bit about misinformation and disinformation. And again, this is courtesy of Hindsight 2002. If you have not subbed up to her channel, one of my mods, she's a mod in here, can absolutely drop the link to her TikTok as well as her YouTube channel. I value her opinion too. She's been doing this a long time. She's got no dog in the fight. All she wants is truth and justice. And those are the people that I like putting work in on and being friends, because we have the same goals in mind from case to case, whether or not we agree with the information or the path that each of us are going down. I still value her information. Why? Because she's not here for any purpose other than to try to find the truth. And you guys see the hell that some of this, just to try to find the truth and locate people, what we go through to advocate. It's an ugly world out there, and it's a blessing to have people that have the same goal and the same focus. So that is, and I it's hard not to shout out Mama Rissa as well. It's hard not to shout out Mama Rissa as well.
Misinformation is defined as any sort of false or misleading information, whether on social media or even in a journal paper. Disinformation, on the other hand, is false information spread with nefarious intent. Whatever the classification, deceptive news has an impact.
Why is it so information to know the difference between misinformation and disinformation? Is because we have seen both going on in this case. Let me give you a prime example of misinformation. Okay, misinformation is when you knowingly, well, let me go through disinformation first. Disinformation is going to be the easiest to explain to you. Okay, when Tony first came on the scene, there was a criminal report being passed around about him, about how horrible he is. He's a felon, all these things, which could not be further from the truth. But specifically on that report, you could clearly see it said 40/B/M. If you see those types of things on police report, that tells you that that's a 40-year-old black male. Okay. And so they were passing this horrible record around that they knew, because it clearly stated there that this guy was a man, he was 40 years old, and he was not the right color of Tony Mathis. And they passed that around for a long time, knowing that it was inaccurate information to smear Tony. We're watching disinformation campaigns right now being concocted by Julie Skolnick. Julie Skunk. Okay, she walks like a skunk, smells like a skunk, acts like a skunk. She's a skunk. So we have those things. Misinformation, on the other hand, would be misunderstanding, right? Misunderstanding or Intentional, willful, blissful unawareness could be a good example of misinformation. And so, what is misinformation? Misinformation is basically the game of telephone. You start out with an opinion and it becomes fact. It becomes misinformation. So, disinformation is intentional, willful, and deliberate, while misinformation could potentially be classified as just being uninformed or misunderstood.
The extent of the impact and the spread has as much to do with human psychology as it does with the rancor of the message itself.
Hey, Eric.
Social media platforms are designed for engagement, right? I mean, they want more people to be on the platform and they want these people to engage with one another. When they see that there is some engagement going on a post, then they spread this post even further so that, they will maximize the engagement.
Jaylon set up an experiment. She rewarded one group of people for sharing accurate information online. She rewarded another group for sharing misinformation.
But when we took the rewards away, we looked at their behavior. When we rewarded them for accurate information, they continued sharing accurate information even when the rewards went away. But what is even more interesting is that when asked, everybody was super motivated to share accurate information, even when they didn't do it. This is telling us that it's not our motivation that's driving our behavior on these platforms. It's the habits that we are building on these platforms that drive the ultimate behavior.
The research underscores the notion that at least some of the onus is on these platforms. And they do, in fact, have teams in place to mitigate misinformation.
Content moderation is at the...
Do we really believe that? I mean, we've been on these platforms for years. I don't see anything combating misinformation on here at all.
End of the day is always going to be about trade-offs and trying to figure out balancing that trade-off. I think it's really important for us to have policies in place and be transparent about the policies.
Which nobody abides by the policy. But the moral of this, I'm going to go through just probably about another minute of this, and then we're going to move on. I thought this was important. This is a good video about decoding deception.
Also, make sure that we are getting the balance between free expression and safety, right?
Facebook spends lots of time and money on moderation. But are they doing enough? For one former employee, the answer is an emphatic no.
Facebook does not allocate spending based on absolute need. They do it based on fear of consequences.
And
sorry, I just went too far. But did you guys hear that? They fear consequences, okay? And that kind of comes back to some of the discussions that I was having in our first live this morning about maybe it's time for us, instead of keep fighting this broke system, and start making YouTube hear the people that are on this platform that don't want to deal with this anymore. And we have to start really talking seriously about that, because this platform is becoming dangerous. I've seen the danger it can cause, and somebody is going to get seriously hurt by the behaviors of these hate channels. And it's got to come to a stop. And it's not just the hate channels and true crime. There's literally, I've been monitoring YouTube in a lot of a whole different ways. And you've got the same exact design in candle making, in yarn, in just about everything, where people feel that if somebody is getting attention or people are focusing on them, they want to seek and destroy. And not just seek and destroy by putting ugly posts. Nobody gives a crap about ugly posts. They dive into people's personal lives and take their personal and private information and disseminate it across YouTube and other social media platforms in an effort to have some crazed lunatic come look for you. Let's call it what it is. What other purpose would those strategies be used for, other than for people to show up, right? So that's just kind of the intro. Let's get started. on Sebastian Rogers. Sebastian Rogers, again, he's now 16 years old, has not been seen or heard from since the day he walked into his house on the evening of February 25th, 2024. And not 1 second before or after has he ever been seen again, except from this lady's mouth, with no proof that he went to bed at 9 o'clock, and when she woke up at 6, he was gone. We've got to take her word for it. And let's remember, Mommy Dearest ran away within 2 weeks of her child missing to a different state.
How did they know he took a flashlight? Well, I asked that very same question today, and I was so glad that Sebastian's mother explained it to me, because when I read that news article, I was like, well, how did they know he had a flashlight? Do you want to tell us about that?
One of the first things that was asked is because he left when it was very dark outside, was if he might have taken a flashlight. And he actually had.
Do you notice how she emphasized he might have taken a flashlight? This is where I can say a good portion of misinformation on our part, right? Because we took it as he may have left with a flashlight, as he did leave with a flashlight. And that was peddled out for months after this child disappeared. Months. I would think that that would be considered misinformation, but we're going to get into some disinformation here.
As one that he plays with regularly, and I can't find it. So it's likely that he took it.
Likely.
You said there was, they had asked you if there was any flashlights that were missing, and that prompted you to go look. Tell me about that. There was some questions about the flashlight, so I just wanted you guys to reiterate that.
Right. So Sebastian had a little, it's about a little 3-inch. If you think about the little keychain flashlights, that you used to find at vendor tables they give out for free, cheapies. It was something that he picked up at one of the local festivals, and so right now we still this day cannot find it. So we are assuming that he took it with him because it cannot be found.
We begin with a surprising development.
Sorry about that.
How did they know?
Again, I think this is a great understanding of misinformation, because we took all these assumptions that these parents were saying very clearly were assumptions, and we were taking them as fact. And I think that the parents actually started taking them as fact. But we have to go back to the beginning. What was the original statements? Those original statements are going to be more likely, more truthful than they are today. And so that's why it's so important to get those earlier interviews and compare them to the later interviews. And that's what we will be doing.
Not be found.
We begin with a surprising development in the search for 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers, who's been missing for 18 days. An exclusive look at new video evidence. Thanks for joining us here at 6. I'm Rory Johnson.
And I'm Hunter Hoagland. A lot to get to here tonight. Authorities have scrutinized home security video from that Hendersonville neighborhood, trying to learn what happened to that teen with autism.
Now you can take a look for yourself.
Well,
Our Nick Barris obtained video that appears to show 2 people near Sebastian's home the night his parents say he disappeared.
Breaking news. This is coming in from Sumner County. The TBI just issued an Amber Alert for a missing boy. This is 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers. Now, we've been following the search for him since yesterday morning in the Shackle Island area.
I'm going to stop it right there because I don't want it to get ahead of the show, and I wasn't planning on playing the whole entire clip here. So you guys get the gist of it. We're seeing some misinformation right at the very beginning, because we took this whole thing with the flashlight and took it. Hey, I got time today. It's nice to see you, Karen. Hello, SIO officer. It's nice to see you. Or SI officer. It's nice to see you. And we took it and ran with it as if it was true. And then, of course, you know, a few days later, when the lights video came, they had a couple different ways to handle that lights video, but they chose to handle it. Hello, Sassy. Thank you so much, Lovebug. A 10-month member. God bless you. So Sassy. You were the last on my mind. Did I tell you guys I'm a little exhausted? I'm trying to get my body in the whole evening routine, and I'm not doing such a swell job, and I'm totally exhausted. But getting back to this, we took it as true, and then of course the 314 lights that gave them something to play with. I think they went with the very wrong script, and that was that it was a garbage truck, because I think anybody can see that it's definitely far from being a garbage truck. Now is when I wanted to get into the flashlights, the lights video. And this is a clip from Channel 5 that I'd like you guys to see and hear. And I know you guys have seen and heard it, but this is all part of these blobs we're talking about. And if you're just joining into the show, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. Let me know that you guys enjoyed this this show and that you got something out of it. If you feel obliged, please leave a comment and carry on conversations in the chat, because that's how you guys get informed from each other, just like I get informed from you and you guys get informed from me. It is a all hands on deck type of thing, and it has been that way for over a year. You guys are still heavily invested in the outcome of the Sebastian Rogers story, and we still pray that the outcome is going to be positive. But with each passing day, that knot in the pit of our stomach is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, I have had weird things go on since this case has started. Many of you guys have been a witness to it. For example, when the blobs first came out, we didn't know what we were looking at, but you could see something happening at the vehicle. And that was a still image. And I believe that was before hindsight started getting, started working with it and actually enhanced a moving video versus just a still, which was very, very interesting. But what we realized is that something was, and it had gone on outside of his home, very close in proximity to the time and the location a 15-year-old boy disappeared from. So we're going to go to the lights video. This is a very important clip. I'm not doing the full lights video. We're actually playing the news clip about the lights video.
Sebastian Rogers, who's been missing for 18 days. An exclusive look at new video evidence. Thanks for joining us here at 6. I'm Rory Johnson.
And I'm Hunter Hoagland. A lot to get to here tonight. Authorities have scrutinized home security video from that Hendersonville neighborhood, trying to learn what happened to that teen with autism.
Now, you can take a look for yourself. Our Nick Barris obtained video that appears to show two people near Sebastian's home the night his parents say he disappeared.
The video you're about to see is from early Monday morning, February 26th, around 3:10 a.m. Now, there are no street lights in the Stafford Court neighborhood, so it is at night, pitch black. What you will see here are these 2 points of light believed to be people with flashlights in the area around Sebastian Rogers' Hendersonville home.
Did they know about this video before they started talking about the flashlight? How did the flashlight that Sebastian, this little keychain flashlight, from what I hear, never even worked? Why would this flashlight be such a focal point in the story so early on? I think there is 3 people. It's possible. I wouldn't dismiss that. I wouldn't dismiss that at all, girl mom, quite frankly. I definitely know there's 2 or more people there. I could get on board with 3 people, because the way I look at it is, there could have been 2 to 3 people outside of the vehicle, 1 person inside the vehicle. There could have been two people outside of the vehicle and one person in the vehicle. But there is, I definitely believe that something happened, and this was a much more large ordeal than many believe. But I think the important information is how often does a child go missing and there's extensive activity going on outside of that child's home. But the critical information that I personally saw that blew my mind is watching one lone light run back toward the Proudfoot home. And it just so coincides with only one person waking up inside that home that next morning. That's the problem that I've always had. That's what we saw on this video. And that is exactly why many people believe that way that they believe when it comes to the mom and the stepfather. So let's watch this. Now, I also want you guys to remember that it's this video that has been enhanced, and it's this video that saw the blobs, and it's this video that was enhanced to show the blob that we're going to get to, which looks a little more than just one person walking by themselves. It truly does look like somebody, like something large is being carried.
It is believed Sebastian left his home barefoot and with a flashlight sometime overnight. Since his disappearance, authorities have reviewed security video from homes in the neighborhood looking for clues.
We have had several clips that have come in.
And this one is getting the most attention, showing signs of activity around Sebastian's home the night he disappeared. You see, two light sources, which we've circled to help you follow. For point of reference, the security camera was pointed toward the back of Sebastian's home in a common area. In the video, you see subject 1 with a light source in the lower right-hand corner. Then you see subject 2 briefly appear and move toward the first before that light source is covered or obscured by bushes. Subject 1, a few seconds later, then moves out of frame. Then subject 2 reappears and follows subject 1 off screen. It's a short time later and it's very vague, but then you see one of the subjects moving quickly back through the common area, and that is it. I know there's not much to see here. You certainly cannot identify anyone, but those close to the investigation tell me the mere fact that there is now evidence that someone is in the area around Sebastian's home is significant.
And it has been significant. It will always be significant. This right here is a huge piece of information that I can almost guarantee we weren't supposed to be privy to. But because of this news broadcast by Nick Barris, we were. And I do want to hear somebody saying about the audio. This filming had no audio to it, okay? So any audio that people are picking up, it was from the recording process itself. Again, very, very interesting. And during this process, shortly after this, Seth was having some problems with his team. And a lot of people didn't realize what was going on with the team, just that he was letting his PIs go. And many of us were scratching our heads, you know, and a lot of people were like, I can't believe, you know, that's when the whole turncoat happened with the first band of people, where it was JLR, Chloe, Heather, you know, Trevor, and all these people that took this way too personally. You're either here to help a family or you're not. And when I take things too personal, or I feel I'm getting, you know, my emotions are clouding my judgment, I distance myself. You know, I don't take offense to that. I don't, I'm definitely not going to turn on a family in need because my feelings got hurt. And I felt like that's what happened, but none of us really knew why. We heard that there, you know, he told Heather to take a break, and we heard all of the craziness start. This was the beginning of the circus that started. And you know what we found out? we found out that his PIs were withholding information from him. PIs don't have the luxury of withholding information from their client. If they take on a client, they work for that client. Their work is not their work. It is their client's work. Their client owns that work. You don't get the opportunity to say, I don't want to share this with you. And that is exactly what happened. But at the time, we had no clue. We just knew that there was a disruption and from the outside looking in, and I wasn't involved with Tony or Seth at this time. I'm just advocating for a missing boy, and we're all seeing this and we're like, well, what's going on? And I'm just like, people are going to work with who they were going to work with. And if you are working with somebody and it's not working out, what do? You let it go. You move on. Everybody split amicably. We didn't hear anything from Seth about stuff. It was all the hate channels and all these people complaining about the cease and desist that they got. And we're all scratching our heads wondering what was this all about? And come to find out, it's because somebody had stolen the CPS reports from Seth's phone. All of this stuff is going on right after the Lights video comes out. And if you guys don't remember it, here's a little taste of the acknowledgement from the PIs of them withholding this information. And now we look back on it and we're like, well, no, duh, they got fired. I would have fired them. You would have fired them.
As far as the leaked audio, I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys about what I know about that. Chloe and I both had withheld that from Seth because we just, like I've said before, we felt like it was just going to cause more problems. And that's not something I usually do with my clients because I don't feel good about withholding anything from my clients.
You should never withhold anything from your clients because your client is is needing this information to make decisions, right? You've got a lost child. You have information with one of those people that could be a person of interest. How can somebody be making rational decisions with half the information? This was so bad. I mean, I'm surprised she doesn't have complaints against her license over this, quite frankly. Not that I'm suggesting it. I'm just saying I'm surprised.
And frankly, if I give my client something and they want to leak it to the world, they can do that.
Absolutely.
That's their prerogative. But in this particular case, because of how hostile it's been and whatnot, Chloe and I both felt like it was best to not share.
Oh, so it wasn't best for them not to share it with the father that they're working for, but it so happens to be leaked by somebody that shouldn't even have had it? This is why some of the problems happened early on in the case like they did. And let's not forget all of the BS that came with the hate channels shortly thereafter all of this nonsense. Let's listen.
What was her last question?
Something about,
is this a hoax?
Yes, is Sebastian even missing? Is this a hoax? It kind of feels like you're playing us or something. And I'm like, yes, that's all these cops you've seen.
Well, in all honesty, in all honesty, there's a lot of people that are starting to feel that way. And I know that it could have been a troll situation, but
this is Elevated Truth. Now, if you guys know anything about E.T., he was hot and heavy for the Proudfoot family, and then he started asking questions and basically got ostracized by his own team. And we haven't heard really a whole lot about him advocating at all for Sebastian in a really long time. I try to tell you Heather was a snake. Yeah. I don't want to say this is their intention, but I just think that she got swept into the manipulation strategy of JLR and his crew, in all fairness. Chloe knew better. She didn't care, but she's been associated with him for a really long time. I do think she was a plant. I think they all were. They were all in cahoots together. Look who they're all tied back to. SF. Something ain't right. These people are dirty. These people are dirty, in my opinion.
I mean, there's a lot of people that are looking at this and going, this is too perfect. This is too coordinated.
Too coordinated. Remember how many times when we were at the very beginning of this case and I said there's no evidence, and that always to me implies a cleanup of some sort. This is their people questioning them publicly. This was last year. You notice that public questioning no longer happens. They're not allowed to say boo unless they're beating up some other creator asking the questions. Asking the questions. They refuse to ask them anymore. Why? Because their own team will cut off their own heads.
And I don't necessarily mean on y'all's side, but just in general with the case. And so I think it's, responsible to at least acknowledge that there are people that are looking at it going, yeah, this isn't right. Something about this isn't right,
That's true.
So-
She could have not been saying it towards.
I mean, he seems like he's a reasonable, rational person with some of the conversation he has. I don't see how he's getting this so wrong unless he's just kind of lying in wait, in all fairness. And you notice that Chris never answers. We're in almost a minute to that one question, and they're still all talking back and forth, and Chris has never even answered yet.
No, I mean, I guess in fairness, she's asking, is this a hoax? I promise you, ma'am, this is not a hoax. There is, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, I do not wish this to happen to another single family in this world, but it's going to happen. And I said this in a previous show on Cluminati, that I never understood how these families felt, because you hear it on the TV, another missing child, and you're like, well, that sucks, but you don't put much attention to it. Well, when it happens to you and you hear all of the rumors and you hear all the stuff, let me tell you, it is the most gut-wrenching, heartbreaking scenario that you're ever going to face.
And once again, back to him, his feelings, his emotion, never once ever thinking about Sebastian, never once answering the question about whether this is a hoax or not, otherwise saying that it is a true story, it's a true situation, and then going to all the other people that have missing kids and what they're going through. The difference is with all those other missing kids, 99% of the parents are in front of the camera begging for their child to be brought home, begging and pleading with anybody that has them, showing emotion, showing urgency, not really caring about anybody else's kids in that moment or anybody else's missing kids in that moment. They just want their kid home. And we've never, ever, ever once, out of all the parents we've seen break down, out of all the gut-wrenching stories we've played on here, we have never seen Chris and Katie act like the cases we cover where parents lose their child. Either they're missing or they're deceased. We've never seen anybody act this cold and callous toward any child. Any child.
Just short of losing a loved one. But I promise you, there is no hope.
Losing a loved one. I mean, this is back on May 18th, and he's already telling everybody that Sebastian Rogers is deceased. Let's listen.
All of the rumors and you hear all the stuff. Let me tell you, it is the most gut-wrenching, heartbreaking
Hey, Jenny. Vic.
scenario that you're ever going to face, just short of losing a loved one. But I promise you, there is no hoax to this. Now, is this... I have a conversation with TBI law enforcement.
He was about to say something else, and then he caught himself. But he's comparing his missing stepson to deceased people. He's talking to the father within mere hours of him walking or getting home, talking about what happens if Sebastian is deceased. There's been no urgency No demand for his return. No demand for his return. I'm going to skip that one until later. But let's listen to what Miss Bobby has to say.
The thing with this is I will tell you that Chris is nasty. He is meaning, and he went off on my son and I one night and threatened his girlfriend in the Jeep. I have it on. I still have it on dash cam.
Let me turn this volume down so I'm not breaking your ears. It's a low volume. But I keep wondering if Miss Bobby is ever going to release that dash cam. That, I know there are some content creators on this platform that have a good relationship with her. I mean, she's already been through hell and back, you know. At this point, what difference does it? I'm gonna pull Hillary Clinton, okay? I'm gonna pull Hillary Clinton. You know, at this point, what difference does it make? You know what I'm saying? I would like to see his behavior because that can help us identify his behavior and his demeanor, especially under certain stresses. It could be very educational for us in our assessment for our behavior as well as our psychological assessment of Chris. So if there is a content creator out there, or if Bobby is listening, maybe leaking it somewhere would be kind of beneficial. You know, I'm sure probably not, but hey, we can always wish, right? We can always wish and hope, right? I know, wish in one hand and poop in the other, see which one fills up faster. I get it. I'm just saying. That's all. I'm just saying. Now let me turn this up. I'm going to try to keep it down.
We didn't even realize it was running. Thank God it was. Where he confessed to me all kinds of crazy stuff. And afterwards it was over, my son and I looked at each other and we were like, wait, why did he tell us that? What is that? Why do we care? He was telling us all kinds of stuff at the very beginning and then threatened us with, my mom's a realtor in Gallatin and she knows everybody. She's got connections. And I'm like, I don't give a crap what your mom's doing. But that was a threat to me to shut my mouth and make sure I kept my mouth shut to let me know that was intimidation.
Isn't it funny that every time we deal with anybody that wants to speak about truth, gets intimidated and told to shut up or forcibly tries to be shut up? They tried to forcibly shut me up with a jail, but these people don't realize I'm a kamikaze type of person and I have no problem sitting my ass in jail. My rights are above all else, and I will fight it through the court system. That's the difference between me. When I'm there for my cause, I don't let people push me around or intimidate me. I will walk the walk, buddy, and I will do it with a smile on my face, and I'll do it with my head held high. But these people have been intimidated. Their community has been intimidated. We've watched the intimidation happen to me, happen to Brittany J., happen to Seth, happen to Tony. Hell, we even watched a judge have to recuse himself because of the intimidation. And every time we look at where this intimidation is coming from, it links back to the people associated with the mother and stepfather. Somehow, some way, always links back to them or the people they know best.
But he was like, he thought this, and I just wish I could describe to you the demeanor. I mean, the man stood in the middle of the street as we're driving slowly down the street. Now, this is my neighborhood. You're not going to tell me what road I can and can't be on. I live here too. I can go wherever I want to go at whatever terminal I want to go, as long as I'm not disturbing the peace, which we really don't even have. We're in the county, so we don't even have a noise ordinance kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, whatever. But when he stood in the middle of the street, he stood with his feet basically hip width apart, his arms crossed and his chest all puffed out like, whoa, you're not going to get past me. Put his hand out to stop us. My heart jumped out of my throat.
Doesn't he know that you can't stand in the middle of the road? Didn't he give Bullhorn Betty? Didn't he give Bullhorn Betty a lesson on why you don't do a protest in the middle of the road? Miss Bobby, did you forget where your gas pedal was? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I think Miss Bobby forgot where her gas pedal was. Do you think Chris would have thought twice about his gas pedal? Just saying.
I had my phone in my hand, and I thought at first it was the police. Because I thought maybe the police were still over there. And I thought, oh crap, we're going to have to explain to the police that we're not being weird. Then I realized when I found out it was him and his demeanor, I had my phone and I had 911 already on my phone and I was ready to hit send as soon as if I felt threatened by him. He's got this, I'm bigger than you. You are going to leave me alone and you're going to stop asking questions and you're going to get out of my face and you better not ever come back over here again. It was just this demeanor of get away from me.
I would really like to see that video.
Get off me. Leave me alone and stop messing with me.
I'm sorry. I would really, really, really like to see that video. I'd like to see it. All right. So now we've got that. Am I going to do this? Yes, I'm going to do this. We're about to get into the blobs. We're going to have to.
Drugged him to the point of knocking him. The question is how they. After we know about what happened with the whole light thing, and now we've got it confirmed for a fact where the lights went. But I know that my kids were over in the construction area. And let me rephrase this before anybody assumes anything. My kids were not standing next to the dogs when they jumped in the water. They were at the top of the hill, on top of the dirt mound.
Me too, Ash Cash.
See the dogs from where they were standing, but they were not walking with them. They were over there in the property with them. The dogs jumped into the pond. The handler had to pick up and drag the dogs out of the water because it's like quicksand. And when he came back out of the water and they walked back up to the back of the property where our house meets the construction area, my kids were out there and asked, what happened? And the handler said he jumped in the water. And my kids were like, what do you mean? Why did he jump in the water? Well, not only did he tell my kids that, but he told my neighbor down the street the exact same thing when they came door to door asking for video footage and do you mind if we search your property?
Now we have to remember as well that law enforcement, from my understanding, this was not a scent-specific dog. This was a ground disturbance and tracking dog. There's a lot of differences in the different types of training. Some can be cross-trained, some cannot be cross-trained. So we're still very iffy about this first dog, but I'm under good accord that this dog was not a scent-specific dog, and that means he did not get a clothing of Sebastian's to track. So if that's accurate, true, and correct, which I don't know one way or another because I have none of the certifications of these dogs, unless somebody knows where the dogs came from, which unit they came from, their name, where we can, search their certifications, will be a little bit clearer. But right now, I've got a dog named Max. That's to the extent of what I know about the dog. So I know nothing. All I have is that a law enforcement, Eric Craddock, has stated, now we're going to have to just bear with me here. So Eric Craddock stated that there was a false hit. Okay. One thing I can tell you about Eric Craddock, and this is an observation, and I've went back several times to check. He has not willfully lied to the public. We feel he has, right? We feel he's lied to the public, especially about the lights video, when the rumor was going around that it was a trash truck. Now, granted, law enforcement asked the parents to imply that it was a trash truck. And also, I think it was the news reporter implied that it could be a trash truck. But when approached, when Eric Craddock was put on the spot to ask what those lights were, he would not answer. Why am I telling you this? You guys know this. It's because I want to let you know he has not publicly deceived us. He's used deceptive practices by third parties. So if he's telling us that this was a false hit on the dog, I'm going to believe him. Because even though rumors and misinformation and disinformation are propagated by law enforcement, by, third parties, it's not coming from them to the public. Would they deceive the public? They absolutely will deceive the public. But so far, everything that I've went back and reviewed from Eric Craddock or any representative of Eric Craddock, nobody has acknowledged what those lights were publicly. We heard that they were trash trucks. We heard it from Christopher Proudfoot. We heard it from Seth Rogers. We were scratching our heads saying, well, did they give them a different video to look at? Did they play tricks on them? I truly believe, now, again, this is going off just what I've heard through rumor. I don't know for a fact, but from what I've heard through the grapevine is that law enforcement asked Chris, Katie, and Seth to publicly state that out to throw the public off. That's my opinion. I don't have hard, cold facts. I don't have any corroboration of that, but that is truly what I believe happened. And it sounds like there is some rumor out there to support that, but nothing concrete that would even rise to the level of corroboration or to make that statement fact. So when Eric Craddock tells us that those dogs had a false hit, then we have to take it as those were a false hit. Those were not Sebastian Rogers tracks. That was the one thing that we heard over and over and over again those first few days in this search, is that there has been no scent of Sebastian. There's only been one person spreading around the misinformation or disinformation, depending how you look at it, and that's Christopher Proudfoot. He's the one that constantly says the dogs hit on Sebastian. The dogs hit on Sebastian. However, Seth says he's not aware of the dogs picking up Sebastian's scent. We have the EMA director on many, at least 3 different interviews talking about the lack of scent. And then you have the sheriff coming out and saying that there was a false positive with one of the dog hits. That is a very that's sorry, but these were the things that were happening at the time. And I don't see why they would be telling us when it was really just a missing person and they were searching for this child, why they're going to say we couldn't pick up a dog scent. If they picked up a dog scent, they didn't know it was going to be a criminal investigation at that point. They had no clue. So getting back to the bombshell information of the Blob, and my question for those that are coming in late, I said I was going to have because the mob crew is kind of my go-to for the analysis of these cameras and vehicles and stuff. He pays a lot of great detail and does a lot of research, very good research when he's talking about this stuff. Not that I agree with 100% he's saying or anything like that. I still respect his craft, of taking that time. One thing I don't have as I'm getting older is the patience, right? That's why I go live as opposed to creating videos, because I don't have the patience to create. Can I create videos? Do I know how to create videos? Do I know how to make bombshell, eye-popping videos? I absolutely do, right? But they take me forever to do. So I don't. Unless I'm feeling inspired, okay? Unless I'm feeling, oh, thank you, SRK. God bless you. Love you, Betty, and all the coffee beans. Oh, that's so sweet. That's so sweet. Thank you. But this is the question I'm going to present for the mob crew. So the mob crew, and I don't want to sound disrespectful, because this is coming from a place of curiosity, wonder, not any type of ego or anything like that. These questions are out of love, not trying to one up or anything like that. But there was something he said. And when I was doing some video editing, I remember, or not editing, but enhancing a photo where we went there, took a blah, 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 blah. And it was from the SF picture that they tried to literally, I don't even know what, they distorted that whole photo, intentionally distorted it to try to throw us off, which is a problem in and of itself. But I remember when the first kind of blobs came out, right next to that car, I remember the mob crew stating something to this effect. Now, I don't think it's verbatim by any stretch of the imagination, but he basically said this is a video of a video, and that there is possibility of shadowing that could have the appearance of people, or something to that effect. Do you guys remember him saying that about the one video, about it being a video of a video, and it makes it hard, especially when you're trying to enhance, could you be getting shadows from the person that recorded it and stuff like that? Do you guys remember that? Oh, thank you, sort of Morta. Yeah, I think the mob crew is very, he's a nice guy. I like him. He's got just a very mellow demeanor about him, right? Very approachable, not a Bullhorn Betty by any stretch of the imagination, where I bite and bark before I say, hey, I'm just joking. But you know what I mean. He's a very nice person. He's got a great demeanor. He's never beyond reproach. I think he really is here to try to find answers with all of this craziness going on. Before I get any further than that, I just want to say whoever received, thank you, Sort of Mortar, for the gifted Bullhorn Betty membership. Whoever received your Bullhorn Betty membership, please don't forget to tell Sort of Mortar thank you, and welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Forgot this. I'm a little slow. It's late tonight. Grab your straight jacket and your padded room. It's definitely going to be a bumpy ride. I can't even speak straight. But I want to see if you guys remember. Do you guys remember that? Yes. So some of you guys do remember. I like the deception detective too. Yeah, absolutely. So he said something to that effect related to, the video of the video. So here's the question I'm going to present. While, yes, I agree that videoing a video. So basically what that means is like what Nick Barris did. He was watching the security cameras and he picked up his phone and started recording the security cameras, right? He didn't get a download of the security cameras. He took out his phone or another recording device and recorded over the screen. So if you have a shiny screen and you're moving behind it, you might pick up the glare on your phone from recording a recording. Okay, so I understand that. I've been doing videos and stuff like this for quite a few years now. So I'm very, very familiar with shadowing. I'm very familiar with, like this. I want to be closer to the light as opposed to having one side of my face dark like I'm doing. That's the purpose for us to have the lights that I never like hooking up in here, so we get a nice fully lit video. Okay, we didn't get that. It's a video of a video, and there can be some shadows from whoever's in front of the screen recording it. But now we've had one person develop the image at the car. We've had several people, different segments of these lights, right? So at different points of these lights, somebody has zoomed in and enhanced that. Now, if it's a shadow from recording, from phone to screen, and getting some type of shadowing from whatever's on the outside of here, how is the people being able to produce the same images over and over again from different points? So if you have a shadow, say you guys are looking at my screen. Say the shadow is, let me use the other hand so you guys can see it. Say the shadow from recording a recording is down here. When you're getting the light source from up here, It's not a shadow. So we've had several different spots in this video enhanced as they're walking from the home to the car. And every single one of those enhancements from a variety of different people with a variety of different backgrounds, none of which, other than hindsight, is an actual content creator. How are they able to produce the same type of images no matter where they are in that lights video? Let me explain. I'm going to start out with hindsight's videos, and then we're going to move into some recent photos that I have received. Oh, thank you, Rod. God bless you. God bless you. Then I'm going to go into some emails of another independent person picking totally different areas in the video to enhance. And guess what? Same stinking results. The same stinking results. Let's take a look. All right. So now you guys got to see that. Stop that. So now you guys got to see that. Now, this is an independent person. This is now an independent person. Right here. I'm going to go through these with you. This is a person that's not associated with anything or anyone, doing different areas of the video. How is it that no matter where you go and grab that light source, wherever that dot is on the video, how can that be shadowing or a recording of a recording? So what is that blob? We have several people in our chat. We do have a poll going on, and my question is simple. Do you think this blob is Sebastian Rogers? Do you think this blob is Sebastian Rogers? This is a different part in the video. Oops, let me go back down just a little bit. This is a different part in the video. And every single one, there is a large mass in whoever that light is coming from. A large mass. As if something is leaving that home that is very large. That's why I'm asking the question. What is the blob we keep seeing on no matter who enhances it, whether they're a layperson or a professional at this stuff? We're getting the same results at different places in the video. What is that telling you? What is the reasonable deduction from that? What else would be being carried to a car? Let's present that question. What else could this be? Because I don't know if we would think anything, think anything negative if Sebastian woke up in his house and we seen these images near his house. What would we think if he woke up and they looked at the video and saw somebody prancing through there? What would we think? We would think they were there casing the joint or ready to burglarize the joint. But these people never came back, and a child went missing around that same time. That's okay, Eileen. That's okay, love. That's okay. This is very interesting, and I got to be honest with you. It is concerning. When we received that first one at the car, when we were all trying to figure out what we were seeing, I absolutely know, or at least believe, what I think that one is. And I think everybody had the stuff wrong. That black blob by the car, I'm telling you, when I compared that to Katie sitting at the Texas Roadhouse, you're talking about the same hair, the same black jacket. It looked like her crouching and looking into that car. Now, it looked like a blob was behind her in somebody else's hands, though. But that was the first one that came out that everybody jumped in on and started looking at and analyzing. And then, of course, that's when people started being concerned, because we all know where that footage came from with Nick Barris, and we know how Nick Barris recorded it. And so mob crew on the side of caution wanted to bring that up to people. But you have to remember, during that video, we had lights up here. Well, I guess on your side, we had lights up here and we had lights down here in that clip. And this one's moving toward this one that's near the car. So no matter where you pick that light, the number one light, no matter where you pick it from any part in that video, it's producing the same type of blob. That is leaving me to believe and hypothesize that something was being taken out that was large and appeared heavy. Now, can I definitively say this is a human being or not? Of course not. I can say it don't look good. I can say that. You know, when we found this out with this blob. We found this out going into, if you guys recall, going into the 1-year milestone of Sebastian Rogers. And the reason why I remember that is because I remember getting ready to pack up and leave and running a show and telling everybody to please pray that this doesn't look good. It actually had me very choked up and teary-eyed when I first saw it. Because as soon as I saw that, and I think it was Lady Raw Narrative and Grace's Gavel that worked on it, or somebody like that worked on enhancing some of the stuff further. When I saw that, my heart sank. My heart sank because it was the first time we were able to enhance something and see what was behind those lights. And when we saw it, it was very concerning because we're missing a child. And that large item could very well be a child. Not that I'm saying it is, but it very well could be. I believe it was. But that's my belief. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that this is very, very suspect. And I think if we have people here, I really do believe that we have people that can enhance this further. I believe somebody out there has state-of-the-art technology or is just a brainiac of a person that can help us. Hey, Nick, the Ruckus video, I went out there personally to look at that Ruckus video, and that Ruckus video is a dud. It's a dud because of a very specific reason. The light source was coming from inside the garage, not a light source outside of the garage beaming toward the garage. It was from the inside. So any of that movement, and I noticed it because I kept watching it and I just kept seeing, like, you saw the struggle, right? But the struggle kept happening in the same spot over and over again. And I'm like, what idiot would stay there in the light struggling with whatever they think they're struggling with and not actually move out of the light? It just kept going on and on. It was like this do 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 do. And I kept looking at it and I realized that was the wind and whatever was so you had the camera You have the camera, you have the obstruction, which is most likely trees or bushes, and then you have the light source, which was from inside the garage. So it was giving this weird appearance, but it wasn't really anything of importance. However, these lights video, on the other hand, are highly important. And I think that we have people out there that has the quality of programs to help enhance this even further. I know that some people out here are are thick in the tech world. So maybe if you can reach out to some of your friends or coworkers or people that are in your personal sphere of influence and see if anybody would be willing to enhance these light sources further. That would really help bring light to this case. Because I really want to see, you know what I really want to see? What I really want to see enhanced? Not suspect one, that is the one that's carrying this, whatever it is, but the suspect two, the one running back to the house. I would like to enhance that a little bit more. I would like to really hone in. You never know. The person may be seen holding something or something that could be identified, right? What if the person took off, say, their black hoodie, and their black hoodie's in their hand and we can see more features? What if? I think it's worth a shot. So for all the people out there that have these technical abilities, if you are doing the work and you don't mind sharing it, if you want credit, I'm happy to give, whoever, whatever credit that they would like to have. I don't, I have no problem saying this beautiful soul did this. I don't know. I don't know how to do some of this stuff, right? So I have no problem if you put the work in, you absolutely, but some people are a little shyer. So I never want to overstep them helping me out, but not wanting to be public, which we have the bushwashers, right? We have the bush watchers. Let me make sure I pronunciate that correctly. So, we really want to look at that. Anyways, long story short, we're already over our hour for this evening. I tried to pack as much information and as many receipts as I could in one show. I still have about 7 more tabs that I have not gone over. Okay, so this was a more voluminous show than what we have time for this evening. So anyways, I want to tell everybody that participated. Sassy, thank you so much for being a member, a 10-month member. Your membership really does help. All of your memberships help this show grow, help us get to places, help pay for legal expenses. Every penny counts, especially right now. And I just want to appreciate and shout out to all of my True Blue audience, my subscribers, my members, and more importantly, my beautiful mods that keep me sane. So just thank you, everybody. SRK, thank you. She says, love you, Betty, and all the coffee beans. We are a tight-knit family here. Ginger says, love you, BHB, and the coffee club. Thank you, my love. I do appreciate that. Sorta Morta gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. Deanna gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership, and Starchild gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. If you received any 3 of those memberships, please don't forget to tell whoever gave that to you thank you, which is going to be Sorta Morta, Deanna, or Starchild. For the people that received these, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket and your padded room. It is always needed. And a big shout out to our beautiful Rod. Thank you so much. God bless you for that gracious donation, which, as many of you know, is going directly to the legal fund until we are through this nightmare. That's where every last red cent is going to be stored. I'm going to be like a little chipmunk, right? I'm going to be a little chipmunk. I'm saving it. I'm saving it for a rainy day. All right, guys, I really do appreciate for you guys allowing me to bend your ear. If you found something valuable on this show, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. If you'd like to share this, please do share it. If you'd like to clip some of the stuff, please do clip some of the stuff. The important thing is getting Sebastian's name out there, getting his information out there, really understanding this case, because I think it's important. If we're going to find Sebastian, we need to look closer to home. I'm sorry, it's just the realistic approach to this case. Guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. And a big shout out to you, Hindsight. I appreciate all of your great work. And I'm glad I got to show and showcase what true activism and proper research is all about, which I think that there are a few people, including one that talks nasty about you this day and age, should take note of. So God bless you guys. Thank you for this team. Thank you for this family. And let's keep our victims front and center, and let's keep focus on the victim. God bless. From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work, we will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you, God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims.